Well, everyone, this is the Daytona 500 race review, and your 2023 Daytona 500 champion is none other than Ricky Stenhouse Jr., guys. Wow. Let's get started with this race review, folks.
Back to reality.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of In the NASCAR. This is the 2023 Daytona 500 race review. And, so I just got done watching the post-race show for the Daytona 500, and yeah, and if I just gotta say, this was probably the first half of the race was probably one of the most cleanest Daytona 500s I've ever watched. And yeah. So, yeah, guys, I'm actually right now been dealing with a little bit of an itchy throat, but my voice sounds fine. My throat just feels a little bit weird. So if you guys think I'm talking funny, I don't think I'm talking funny right now. It's just because if I eventually talk funny later or something, if I get like feel worse or anything, I think it's because my sinuses are starting to kick in again, like they do every year. So yeah. But anyways, back to the video, back to the race review. So first off, I want to give a shout out to Austin Hill and Zane Smith. They won the truck and Xfinity race. The ARCA race was Greg Van Alst. He won the ARCA race, so happy for him. But now it's time for the Daytona 500 race review. Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson were on the pole, and literally from there, it was just double file racing for most of the time. It really was double file racing, and so yeah, drivers were trying to figure out like how their car was handling and all that other stuff. Especially we saw from a bunch of Fords. Fords have probably been the dominant manufacturer for Speed Weeks this season. So yeah, and so we have Hendrick drivers like Larson, Bowman. He had some times where his car was not handling right, but he was able to make some adjustments. Eric Almirola, man, he had a fast Storehouse racing car, but wasn't able to win. So yeah. Stage one. It's been so long, but Brad Keselowski, yeah, he won stage one. Stage two went to Ross Chastain. So I don't want to let you guys know on that. And stage one, I think Mike Joy told us that we haven't had our first caution for incident in stage two. That's the longest we've had without a caution in the Daytona 500. So yeah, usually the Daytona 500, the first caution in the Daytona 500 usually comes in stage one, but it's not. It will be the stage ending. So for a while there, I thought, man, this is probably gonna be one of the most cleanest Daytona 500s I've ever watched. But and then in stage two, coming out of a green flag pit stops in stage one, the Fords were able to rally around the Toyotas and Chevys, and Brad Keselowski and the RFK Fords won stage one, and they were able to dominate stage two, especially between Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski. The RFK cars, watch out for them super speedways because whew, guys. So yeah, the RFK cars were really good, and then the green flag pit stops happened. Oh, I forgot to mention Riley Herbst. He spun out. Trying to get to pit road in stage one, and Bubba Wallace. Once he hit the wall, I thought his chances of winning the Daytona 500 were over, but he came back early because Bubba Wallace, he was on the outside, got hit by Truex into the wall, and he went like a lap down, but then got back on the lead lap and had the chance for the win. Not the win, but on the back of the lead lap for the chance at the Daytona 500. And then stage two was still fairly simple, the RFK cars, and then we had we have this one wreck that collected Tyler Reddick, or Kevin Harvick gave a little bit of a bump to Tyler Reddick that sent Tyler Reddick into Ryan Blaney. Blaney around that collected Chase Elliott. Eric Jones was also involved, and so yeah, Eric Jones, he didn't have a lot of damage, but he got hit very, very hard and bent something underneath suspension. And then Ross Chastain was able to get over and win stage two. Stage three, however, was continued to be dominated by the RFK cars, but however, they were starting to get little mixes. For example, they were starting to get some Chevys and Fords up in the mix. Some Chevys and Fords up there, especially the RFK cars. They were dominant in the end of stage three as well. And so, for all I gotta say, for RFK cars, I legit thought they were gonna win. I either thought it was gonna be Brad Keselowski or Chris Buescher. It either has to be one of those two because they were the dominant ones. They were literally almost unstoppable to pass. And so, yeah, but then it was green. It was clean until after a green flag pit stop cycled through, and then green flag pit stop cycled through, and then they're while trying to get back and reorganize. I think the leading pack was probably like the Chevrolets, and then Ryan Priest, and then Almirola. I think Priest went around collecting Michael McDowell. Kevin Harvick was involved. Chase Briscoe had some damage. Michael McDowell has some damage. Right, I know Ryan Priest did. He got caught up in it. And another 4 minutes incidents were involved. Truex Jr. I forgot to mention him, the Clash winner. He was involved in this. Boy. And so yeah. So that crash took out some heavyweights, especially Kevin Harvick. I feel bad for him in that crash. In his final Daytona 500. In his final Daytona 500, gets taken out, and now Homer has a chance. So sucks for Kevin Harvick, man. It really does suck. But then on that next restart with like 13 laps to go, um, with the RFK Fords were out. I think the RFK Fords were out front again. And then the wild restart, man, where Joey Logano, I think Logano was out front. Yeah, Logano, I think another Chevrolet was out in front. Logano, or either one of those RFK Fords. Yeah, the RFK Fords were actually shuffled back. So that way, Logano was able to get out front. Allmendinger, he was out front as well. But Dyson, they was like really racing hard for the top five position. Logano had some contact. Harrison Burton, he and Logano were leading. And then Harrison Burton got shuffled back, made contact. Harrison Burton, I think he almost spun out Logano, and then that caused everyone to shuffle out. This is what allowed the Richard Childress Racing and the RFK Racing cars to go in a head-to-head duel with each other. And then William Byron was up there in the mix as well. And then Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon, they were able to get by the RFK cars. Kyle Busch was leading. And then so coming out of turn number 4, with just only like 3 laps to go, Daniel Suarez spun out. And then yeah, that's when we saw the new chain of events happen. So coming to the green flag, it was Kyle Busch leading, but then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. came from 7th place all the way up to first place, and then the big one happened. Clex, Austin Dillon was involved. Todd Gilliland, Jimmy Johnson. Man, I was so sad that Jimmy Johnson, man, tough break for him. I thought he was gonna have a chance to get at least a top 10 finish, but he didn't. So yeah, that clearly sucks for him. Todd Gilliland was involved. Austin Cindric, he wasn't able to defend with Daytona 500 after that crash. Riley Herbst, I don't think he had any damage from that crash. I'm trying to see who else was involved. I don't know. So, yeah, I know we collected Todd Gilliland. Ross Chastain, he was able to get through. Wait, he actually made some contact. So, yeah. Almirola, I think Almirola was able to get through. Noah Gragson, I think was involved. So yeah, just a lot of drivers were caught up there in that wreck. Kyle Busch, I literally thought he was gonna be out in that wreck too, but Denny Hamlin. Now, I'm gonna talk about my favorite driver, Denny Hamlin, for a moment here. He didn't have the best car all day. He really didn't. And you guys know I'm a big Denny Hamlin fan. Like I said multiple times. He had a chance. He literally had a chance of winning this Daytona 500. And I'll talk about that last lap crash in a minute. But man, Hamlin was close. He had a shot at it. So yeah. But then that crash that collected so many other good back runners up there. Justin Haley, I think, was also involved. Just that crash in turn 3, that's what practically changed the events big time. I don't know who was all involved. I might have to take a look. I mean, I know who some drivers were involved. I know Todd Gilliland, some of the other drivers were involved, but man, I legit thought this was going to be one of the most cleanest Daytona 500s. But boy, that all changed once because the final 20 laps, well, not the final 2 laps, were not like, I wouldn't say, but it was just really aggressive and fun to watch. So Yeah. And you're gonna have big wrecks in the Daytona 500, so everyone's trying to go for it. But then, and talk about this in the final 2 laps, the second overtime attempt, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was able to play a good defensive line. Joey Logano was close. Joey Logano had a very fast four. He won his dual race, and I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened because I'm Travis Pastrana, man. I was so rooting for Travis Pastrana to at least get a top 10. If Travis Pastrana actually won the Daytona 500, that would be amazing. It would be more amazing. He was racing for my favorite driver's team, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan. That if he would have won, that would be one of the most amazing ones I would have ever witnessed in my life. But yeah, and he got caught in that last lap crash with Kyle Larson. Um, Eric Almirola was involved. Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace was starting to get up there. Denny Hamlin unfortunately got collected in that. So many other cars were involved in that last lap crash. I know Keselowski, he had one of the best cars all day, and so yeah. But in the end, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins the Daytona 500. Oh my gosh. It has been since July 2017 since this guy won. And if you guys don't want to know my opinion on Ricky Stenhouse is, well, I used to really, really like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He was one of my top 10 favorite drivers back in 2019 or stuff. I really, really liked Stenhouse because of his super speedway racing. And that's his super speedway skills ended up getting this win today. He stayed out of the wrecks. Stenhouse is, in my opinion, is a great super speedway racer in my opinion. And so, yeah, um, yeah, congratulations to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Man. This race has to have some luck into it, and Stenhouse Jr. Man, luck is just part of it. Some wins you just gotta get lucky, and I'm not against that. So, great job, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Man. Now, I wasn't really a big Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fan after 2020 or something because I never really cared for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that much. But ever since he got this win, and he has been doing very good and impressing lately, especially with those top 5 finishes last year. I've been gaining a little respect for the guy. I mean, he's really good on super speedways, no doubt about it. And so yeah, even though I'm not a big Stenhouse fan, I'm happy for the guy. I truly am happy for Stenhouse. I really am glad. You know, I'm happy that Stenhouse won, man. He hasn't won since 2017. I'm really not a big fan of this guy. I mean, I really like though. He has been very aggressive. I criticized him, I think, a few times for his aggressiveness on super speedways. His aggressiveness, especially 2018, where he literally wiped out the entire over half of the field. But that was a long time ago. I'm over that now, and so I just didn't wasn't a big fan of Stenhouse because of his over aggressiveness at times, kind of like how Brad Keselowski is. But hey, I didn't see anything wrong with what Stenhouse did today. He raced smart, hard, good, really great. His moves were very fantastic, and great job, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Man, great job. Now I know some guys out there that do not like Stenhouse, and I can clearly understand that. But hey, congratulations to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So, congratulations to him, man. That was a very special win, especially for JTG Doherty Racing. They haven't won since 2014 with AJ Allmendinger. And, yes, Stenhouse win I mentioned was back in Daytona 2017, the Coke 400. Now like almost 6 years later, probably, almost 6 years later, he wins again. So, I'm happy for Ricky Stenhouse. So, I'm glad for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., man. So, go celebrate Stenhouse. And boy, that last lap crash, man. That honestly, that I didn't predict that last lap crash to even happen. Oh man, I still wanted other drivers to have a chance, but hey, at least it wasn't Joey Logano. So yeah, so really didn't want Logano to win there, obviously, but hey, Stenhouse is better, so I'm happy for Stenhouse. So man, so yeah. Wow, what a way to end the Daytona 500. Under caution, it was not like last year where they made it to the line. So, wow, just wow. I want to see who was first. I want to see who was all involved in that last lap crash. Oh yeah, I think Suarez had some problems. Um, yeah, Larson, I mentioned Larson, Bubba Wallace, Travis Pastrana, all those guys, all my favorite drivers, all the ones who I was rooting for got caught in that crash. And Kyle Busch, I haven't talked about him yet. Kyle Busch, he was my main pick to win, like I mentioned. Ryan Blaney, he was my alternate pick, but he got caught in that crash with Tyler Reddick. But Kyle Busch, man, if he would have won today's race, he was close. I mean, he was close to winning it, but he got wrecked out in that last lap crash, and he finished 18th. So, oh man, if Kyle Busch would have actually won, I would have been glad. I would have been so glad because he was my main pick to win, and I would have called it. If especially with the Daytona 500 pick, like my pick was so freaking close, but it's Daytona, so yeah. So in my opinion, this race was good. It was just light at the same as last year's. So yeah, we didn't see a flip in the Daytona 500. We just saw a flip last night, but we didn't see a flip. So yeah, and all the drivers in the crash today were okay. So yeah, and now let's go ahead and take a look at the race results.
And here are the results of the 2023 Daytona 500. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. from starting 31st wins. Joey Logano finished second. Christopher Bell third. He was up front with he was up there with some of Toyotas. Chris Buescher finishes fourth. Alex Bowman fifth. AJ Allmendinger will finish sixth. Daniel Suarez, after spinning out, finishes seventh. Ryan Blaney. Oh my God, Ryan Blaney. Wow. I don't believe it. He comes back, finishes 8th after that crash. Wow. Can't believe it. Ross Chastain will finish ninth. How about that for Riley Herbst? He will finish the top 10. Travis Pastrana was one position away from getting a top 10. But, wow. I thought he finished 14th, but he ends up finishing 11th. Wow. Better than I expected. Kevin Harvick will finish 12th today in his final Daytona 500. Well, he didn't get wrecked out, but he got finished 12th. Zane Smith, he was quiet all day, finishes 13th. Cody Ware, 14th. Corey LaJoy, 15th. Martin Truex Jr., 16th. Denny Hamlin will end up finishing 17th today, my favorite driver. Kyle Larson will finish 18th. Kyle Busch, 19th. Rounding out the top 20, it will be Bubba Wallace. Eric Almirola will finish 21st. He got caught in an accident. Brad Keselowski will finish 22nd. Austin Cindric, 23rd. Noah Gragson, 24th. Ty Gibbs got caught in a few accidents today. Finishes 25th. That's first Daytona 500. Harrison Burton, 26th. Todd Gillen, 27th. Michael McDowell, 28th. Connor Daly will finish 29th. Surprisingly, he finished that high. BJ McLeod 30th. Jimmy Johnson will finish 31st. Justin Haley 32nd. Austin Dillon 33rd. William Byron, he got caught in an accident, finishes 34th. Chase Briscoe 35th. Ryan Priest 36th. Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick were all caught in accidents. And Ty Dillon, with an engine problem, will finish 40th.
So yeah, guys. In conclusion, this Daytona 500 was just like any other Daytona 500. Very fun, very intense, and so yeah, really, really cool. But the first half of the race was really bland. Was like not boring. I'm not saying it's not boring at all. It was one of the most cleanest Daytona 500s ever. But hey, I gotta say, the first stage one was really clean and simple. It had some great moments in there, but there wasn't any very rarely any through either. It was just two wide racing, kind of like what we saw at Talladega. But hey, I like it. I do like a clean super speedway race, and that was really great. We had some new drivers up there. Also, this was the longest Daytona 500 in history, and the most laps in Daytona 500 history as well. So that's always a big boost up there. So yeah, the race today was really good. So yeah, I'm gonna give this race tied with last year's a 7 out of 10 for this year's Daytona 500. A 7 out of 10 for it. Like this year was a great year, great way to start the season. A great way, and good thing my favorite driver Denny Hamlin was able to compete to win the Daytona 500, but unfortunately got caught in that last lap crash. So yeah, hopefully he can do better. He can get his first top 10 at California next week. And speaking of which, the Auto Club race will be the final race on the 2 mile configuration before they reconfigure it. So yeah, it's probably going to be an interesting race review. I'm definitely going to be watching that race because it'll be the final race on the Auto Club track, of course. And last year's race was really good. So I'm looking forward to California next week. I really am looking forward to it. So yeah, and I can't believe it's already the start of the season, man. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he wasn't even one of my playoff picks. I didn't even expect him to make the playoffs this year. So, boom, there goes one playoff prediction out of the water. So yeah, but Stenhouse, everyone knew Stenhouse was a great super speedway racer, but look for him to contend at Talladega. So yeah, um, wow, what a race! What a race! Even though I'm not a big fan of Stenhouse, congratulations to him. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy. I'm happy for Stenhouse, especially for that team because that team's like a C grade team. So it's always special for an underdog like Stenhouse to win. It really is special. It's always really something special. It's always so glad to see someone new, win every once in a while. So yeah. So guys, that's basically it for this Daytona 500 race review. So I think I covered everything. So yeah, another Daytona 500 down in the books. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think about this Daytona 500? Let me know in the comments. What rate would you give it out of a 0 out of 10? How would you rate this Daytona 500? And anyways, guys, whew, yeah, just yeah, what wow, like I would say, just like traditionally, another good way to start the 2023 season and the 75th anniversary of NASCAR. And anyways, guys, this is Preston signing off. Peace out. Lol, I forgot to mention, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he did celebrate, but he didn't do a burnout because guess what? He ran out of gas.